Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And I'm not Kathy. I'm Slade.
Kathy is taking some time off still, so we asked for Big Jim Slade to come over and hang out with us again, talk about some RPG stuff. And if I could get one of my mods in the channel to please highlight and give a shout out to Big Jim Slade and go check out his channel. Make sure you go over there and do a follow. He's always doing cool, random, weird stuff, either playing video games, working on maps, or doing a bunch of RPG. So, you can always find plenty of stuff on there. Welcome to episode 221. Tonight we're going to talk about like some smaller games, new games, getting new players into it, kind of helping out the next generation of role players type thing, because something came up at work, and I thought it would be a really cool topic. I just wanted to make sure I had Big Jim on. So, with that, let's go and get the business out of the way. We want to thank Muse on Minis, of course, for hosting all of our information and getting it out for everybody. If you go to their store and you find something you like, make sure you type in More Than Dice, all one word, and get 10% off everything. We want to thank Mini Masterworks, where they got the awesome paint shakers and all the cool products that you can get from them, which is a bunch of hobby holders from Game Envy and wet palette that you'll be seeing me use. And, of course, you can use More Than Dice MMW10 to get 10% off all that store. We want to thank Parabellum War Games. They make an awesome game called Conquest with some beautiful miniatures, good and fun play, and they are redoing their skirmish rules right now, which are currently in beta, and so you will see a new set of skirmish rules pretty soon. Of course, don't forget about Turbo Dork. If you need some metallic or color shifting paints, always go check them out. Next month, which is, a week away.
Yes.
We won't do a July 4th giveaway, but we'll probably do the weekend that. We'll give away another $50 gift certificate to Turbo Dork. So be there for that. And then
the 10th of July.
Yeah, is it July 10th? And then don't forget Midnight Heroes. You can use our code More Than Dice to get a discount at their store, but also they're running a summer sale, and those discounts will stack if you would like to get a even bigger discount. They sell small bottles of paint, very bright and colorful characters for their chibi models, and of course they do a ton of chibi type poses, which we've got some of those models. And ReaperCon, they plan on releasing the beta rules for their miniature game coming out and stuff. So
Cool.
other than that, I think we got all the business. Do we have any shout outs besides a big fuck you on this week?
As far as I can remember, just the big fuck you.
Yeah, okay. We do have to do one shout out, and it's not even a shout out, it's a salute to John having to start over on his hobby streak, which there's nothing bad. It's just he had a very impressive over 1,000 days long. What was the total we say it was?
1661.
1661. How many years is that? Someone do the math.
I mean, divide by 365.
Yeah, somebody go and do that. John had to, and he didn't have to, but he went to an in concert. I would have gone.
If I was going to the concert, I had to end it. It just didn't happen that day.
But he went to go see a couple of bands and a few bands, and so his hobby streak ended. One of the longest ones I think I've ever seen.
I was actually a week behind the leader.
Oh, were you?
Yes. So, I mean, I wasn't catching anyone. I wasn't worried about that. And at the end of the day, I don't think I have anything to prove to anyone. So,
Captain Mizzy, 4.5 years straight, John. Pretty impressive.
Would have been November for year 5. No worries.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's just cool. So we salute you on that. And starting over, I guess this is day 2?
Yep, day 2. Season 2, day 2.
Season 2, day 2. Let's get down to the really business that everybody wants to know about everything. This is like the highlight of our entire podcast and what everybody has to hear. John, what are you drinking tonight?
I have some Barks mixed with some Kraken.
That actually sounds pretty good.
It is.
You're not like an A&W fan, Barks over A&W?
So, since you're taking a rum that has a bit of a punch to it, It's better if you take it with a root beer that has bite to it. That way they meld together, and you're not getting weird sweet A&W with a little bit of in your face from the rum.
Gotcha.
Almost like I've thought this out.
And you let the caffeine battle out the rum.
Yeah, I mean, at this point.
Slade, what are you drinking tonight?
Actually, tonight I'm drinking some Indian tea. I hadn't been feeling 100%, so I broke out the Tulsi lemon ginger is this one. I've been doing a couple of others too. Some folks that I work with have been supplying me with bootleg Indian tea from India, so it's pretty great.
Awesome.
So today, I partied a little bit hard and had a few stuff. So today I get to do water. I need to rehydrate myself and get that going. So we're going to be doing a little bit of H2O
Don't
today.
make me feel like I'm the one with the problem.
Yeah.
Is it a problem, John? Is it?
Nope.
Okay then.
Besides
Here we go.
having
Solved.
2 hands and 1 mouth.
I got no problem drinking at all.
Right there.
Guys, we really appreciate everybody that comes on here, everybody that listens, everybody that watches, everybody that sends me messages saying they're watching. I appreciate more than anything. It is so cool because we're coming up on one of our anniversaries, and it is really, really, really interesting to have everybody here and still continue to do this 5 years type thing. So here's to y'all. Cheers.
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 Man, that just hits. I mean, hold on, wait up.
That water. That's sweet, sweet water.
Oh, fucking yeah! I feel so. I mean, my cells feel. I'm just feel so regenerated, and so I'm. Yeah, it just brings the tear to my eye. It's so good. Oh. Type thing. So before we switch over to the paint cam and I do some painting, I wanted to talk about. So this week I had a meeting with a colleague. And my colleague said that they started running an RPG for their family. And I thought that's cool. I was like, how long have you been running? I just kind of picked it all up recently type thing was the attitude. And this person picked up a box set for Starfinder, which I've never played, but I know the Pathfinder thing, and this is just the sci-fi version. The person was talking about, they ran it, and I was like, well, did everybody have fun? She's like, yeah, and, it was new and interesting, and, we got through the rules. I was like, I don't know if I got all the rules right and everything. I says, did everybody have fun? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, then that doesn't matter. Rules schmools, as long as everybody's having a good time. That's the whole plan of it. And they were, the person asked a couple of other questions and stuff, but I was like, man, picking up an RPG now and running it. I mean, there is so many cool starter stuff going on. Because this last weekend was free RPG day. I don't know if everybody's picked up that from the local store. And I picked up a Starfinder for this person. And I'll give it to him. I go see him at work on Tuesday and stuff. But I picked up I picked up Root, which I've been meaning to pick up the book for a while. But they had this, it's a quick start. You get characters and everything, and the system is pretty simple. 2d6. You roll this amount and add your skill stat, and if you get a certain number, it goes. GM doesn't roll any dice. GM just helps dictate the story. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I picked up Power Rangers from, because one of my friends worked on it, and I'm not a huge Power Ranger fan, but hey, it, looked pretty cool. Seemed pretty neat. It does have kind of that, Power Rangers silly feel to it. If you remember the TV show, the I that the character would do. But, I mean, it's based off in 3 different systems. So we're going to be talking about that before we switch over. But I know John has something to talk about on MCP.
Well, you asked me to talk about it.
Yes.
So
Well, I did because
definitely.
they did a change in the system and brought some stuff out. And I was like, John, what changed and how it changed? So while you're talking about that, I'm going to switch over to Paint Cam.
I'm going to bring up the website so I can use the right terminology. When I was explaining it to Banyan, I just used general terminology because, I mean, I don't really, to be fair, I don't really give a shit about their actual terminology for it. I want to put it in a way that makes it easy for everyone to
Yeah.
understand. So basically, they have what they call challenger events. They've made two different formats, um, which I want to actually use the right terms for, just because it will make it ever easier. It smacks a lot of Magic and other games and how they've balanced things. This is not a bad thing. Let me just start that off that it is definitely not a bad thing at all. So,
My altar, by the way.
basically, there are two sets. There is standard and extended. Standard timeline is what they call the best player experience, where you have a limited selection of tactic cards. And tactic cards and the crisis cards are the only things that they affect at all. Doesn't affect characters. All characters legal all the time. So let's make that clear. And basically, uh, if you've got the X symbol, the hammer symbol, or the building symbol on the tactic card, it's legal completely. That is why in their most recent box set with the update of character cards, they had reprinted a shit ton of tactic cards. We had no reason why. Like, why are all these tactic cards in here? And most of these didn't have their wording change. Well, it's because they're from the old core Spidey set, and to keep them legal in the new one, they had to reprint them with a new icon on them. So that is the basics of that. And then, of course, the extended is everything. And also in the standard, they have a restricted and a banned list. There are two banned crisis cards because they are potentially negative play experiences. And then there are 2, 4, 6, 8 restricted cards on their restricted list. And some of them are familiar. You'll notice some Brace for Impact Patch Up have been on there for a while because they don't want to keep too much healing and stuff and damage reduction on available because they want games to progress. They added a bunch of stuff that people use all the time and some that are just, I think, negative play experiences. And then if the extended one, there's no banned or restricted. They might, but in general, they would only do that if it was absolutely completely busted. So that's like really the easy of it's not hard at all. All you need to do is hopefully get that new character pack. If not, there's a list online of which cards are in it. So you can just sort out which cards you can use if you're playing standard, which ones you can't. It's a good change because it's going to keep the cards fresh. A lot of the cards that were egregious and haven't been fixed are on that are part of the standard format, if you will. So we decided to play our draft. We had our draft on Saturday. We decided to play our draft event with those restrictions in mind. Seems fine. I mean, Banyan's a little upset because he can't necessarily use all the Infinity Gems to all the other bullshit he wants, but hey, it is what it is. There are restrictions to keep it, as they say, the best play experience. While the standard is supposed to be for those, I mean, for those guys who really want to play all the stuff. I want my crazy broken combos versus your crazy broken combos. Nothing wrong with that at all. And I like that they've made it two separate formats. Any questions, Gonzo? I don't think he was paying
Yeah,
attention.
I did my mic turned off because I was shaking some paint up. I do have a question about that, and it goes to the banning and restricting. And someone brought it up, and I was like, I have no clue if it's if it would harm it. But do you think banning and restricting cards will? And I don't want to. I guess the best way to put soft ban some models because they won't be as good because they don't get to use the banned and restricted cards. You know what I'm saying?
The only banned cards are crisis cards, which don't affect the characters at all.
Okay. I didn't know. Someone mentioned something about it.
Cards. And yeah, kinda. But so basically, they banned. They restricted two of the gems, the two that people take most of the time. The ones where you're like, oh, this person always takes that gem. This person always takes that gem. So they made them restricted. So you can still take them. Hell, you can still take both of them. You just can't take any of the other, what they would call powerful or potentially negative play experience cards with them. Like I said, I have no problem with that. We actually had a discussion of I don't like the first Doctor Strange because he can fucking do everything. They take him with one of the gems, and he can just do just about everything.
Walk all over everybody.
I mean, not necessarily not a walkover, but he's got an answer for everything. So when you make that gem, pretty sure they made the gem that he takes on the restricted list, you have to lose something for that, which is a good way of balancing it.
Yeah.
You know, so we did brief discussions about it. We didn't see anything egregious about it. It seems fine.
What did you think about I don't know if you saw the time limits on games. Do you think 90 minutes to play a game is too much, too little?
Too little.
Do you think it's too little?
But honestly, I'll be honest. I mean, because you realize it's not like you're going to come to the table and everything's set up to go. You've got a lot of preset to go. So, I mean, it kind of depends on where they have everything. If they let you set up all your characters and do all the pre-game stuff before that, if that's outside of it. Also, Bowie said the Soul Stone is the one Strange takes, so I guess it's just the ones that Thanos takes are the restricted ones.
Fuck Thanos.
But, so, yeah, I mean, he's fine. Actually, he's not.
Yeah, no.
He's expensive to sell. But if they have all that stuff to take place on the clock, that's a tight game. But we played in a tournament, and I think every game went to time just about.
Wow.
So if every game goes to time, you're not allowing enough time.
Correct.
So we'll see how that goes. I mean, we play casually most of the
Correct.
time here, so I'm not really worried about time limits.
No, I was just thinking.
Every time is because we've got somewhere to go ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, just like from a tournament organizer standpoint, I was curious how 90 minutes. I mean, you wouldn't think that, all right, everybody go to your spots. All right, you have X amount of time to, pick your roster, set up your events, and then...
Yeah, if you have that amount of time to pick your rosters and figure out what crisis you're playing and set up the various extracts and secures on the field, and the 90 minutes is outside of that, it's doable. But it brings up a problem that Brendan has, is that he feels most games should be close towards the end. And at 90 minutes, you're probably not going to have a lot of games. That's set up for not to be a lot of games close at the end, where people having to think about what they're doing hard. But again, that's the hell of playing tournaments. You have to be able to think quick.
Do you think chess clocks would be a better for it, though?
No. Too many things happen on both sides.
Well, I mean, I would say
stuff.
you could pause it during both sides stuff or switch it over, but you don't think that would be a better?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, we've done chess clocks in War Machine and Hordes, and we all never remember to necessarily flip them over at the right time.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't think chess clocks are actually the answer for any game anymore. I think they were the right tool at the right time for War Machine. I think now they're not right for War Machine. Should be time turns.
Ooh. Go old school hardcore. I remember those days. 5-minute turns. Fuck.
I don't care what the turn time is, but it should be time turns because of all the pre-measuring.
Cool.
Because it's a very, very negative play experience to have someone measure 17 motherfucking things, and you're sitting there going like, just fucking kill me or take your fucking turn. If you have a non-interactive game like War Machine and Hordes, where you're not really interacting and doing stuff on your opponent's turn, you need to be careful about that.
Yeah.
So Bowie says the competitive community in MenCP believes chess clocks is the better way. Well, those guys can have a fun time with whatever they believe. Yeah. I actually don't think it'd be good. I think it would actually be harmful to the game.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not talking about casual play between your friends. That's just whatever you want to do. You can spend 14 hours playing a game if you want that between yours. I was just talking from, of course, a standpoint of organization.
And to a point, I would actually say, yes, chess clocks are fine because they mean that a single TO can run a lot more people.
Correct.
Because then he doesn't have to worry about, is someone fucking stalling?
Yeah.
But at that point, if your community's got a lot of that going on, police the community. But they'll decide what they decide. If someone needs my chess clock to help run an event, it's there for use. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then again, if you're going to sit with the 90 minutes, chess clocks is a better idea just to give everyone a fair chance to complete the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about 90-minute times. I mean, it seems seems short. Seems like at the end of the game you won't be able to think things through. But again, at that point, thinking competitively, you'll take less characters that have lots of stupid interactions that take time. So, but overall, I think it's good changes. I think it could be. I think it's going to be good for the game overall. They just need to sort out the time thing because Bowie says that they didn't allow time. He felt that they didn't allow time for the players to get their tables and set up. And if, like I said, if that's not in the 90 minutes, then if that's in the 90 minutes to set up everything, then it's not nearly enough time.
Gotcha. I can see that because I mean, there's a lot of extra setup. It's not like War Machine and Hordes. You just put your models down and you go, or you set up. Usually the scenario can be set up way before the round timer starts because you've got it. But there's a ton of setup for MCP.
Yep. So Legion says, would 120 be enough in your opinion? I think 120 would be fine, even if you're not counting that in there. You're just going to have to, again, still police people to not fucking stall.
Slow play.
I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but, I mean, there's always those people.
Yep.
And again, that's the only time I think chess clocks are the best problem because if you've got that problem, it's a solution.
Yeah, and from a tournament organizer standpoint, and looking from Adepticon, there were and a few conventions from other TOs I've talked to that has been an issue with some players slow playing on purpose to, get that win, and I was like, yeah, that sucks.
Well, just, I mean, all you can do is ostracize the players who do that shit. Yeah. I remember I ran Friday Night Magic before Friday Night Magic was a thing for years and years and years. And we had those things. I've literally had to go like, dude, you're slow playing. We can all see you're slow playing. I've looked at your hand. You have nothing you can fucking do. End your fucking turn.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just that you're trying to win the game on time. Here's the thing. My girlfriend's sitting in the room having fun role-playing with some other people. I ain't closing the store till you're done. There's no time to run out. So I can outlast you. But yeah, these are problems that we'll sort out. And I mean, willing to do testing with people. Like if Bowie's going to run events, I don't think he's going to, but if he were to run events, I'm happy to do testing and help him figure out what's what.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's MCP stuff.
Sweet.
Overall, good changes. Look forward to it. And I'll give you guys weekly updates on the league, assuming we get to play weekly. I should be able to because the weeks for roleplay, I can just play Banyan since I live with him.
Yep.
So
make the scrub get off his butt and do something.
Oh shit! Hear that, Banyan? He calls you a scrub. Anyways, back to role-playing talk.
So this last week was, and I gave the introduction of why I was wanting to do this, and I didn't know it was a free RPG week until it came around. But there are a crap ton of RPGs. I almost picked up Feng Shui, by the way, but they didn't have the core rulebook, so I was kind of upset about that. Since you've been talking about it quite a bit, John.
Yeah, well, I would actually suggest getting it through Drive-Thru RPG because it's actually going through several revisions.
Yeah.
Minor things.
Either way, it was just, I was like, when I was looking at things to get, and there is just, a crap ton. And running like one-hit shows or one-hit game, one-shot games, or there's so many cool new stuff that people haven't tried because they're...
Time.
Well, not only time, but it's like, oh, we only play D&D because it's D&D, and I'm like, okay, but there's a lot of other cool games. So, Slade, what are some of the cool, like, indie, small company games that you've been playing recently?
I've been actually going through a bunch of, let's talk about Drive-Thru RPG. A lot of stuff off of there. My latest kick has been the Goofy things. Two that I'm looking at right now. One is called For the Dungeon, which is you role play as minions of an evil dungeon lord, and the other one that we're probably going to do on our stream pretty soon is 3 Kobolds in a Trench Coat, where you have these different attributes that you have to fool the humans in the city you live in, and like it's things like go to a movie and order popcorn and get to your seat without people realizing you're 3 Kobolds in a trench coat.
Awesome. The indie games on Drive Thru RPG are great and so well priced.
Yeah, and I think that was like $7 or something like that. I'm happy to throw that kind of money down for a bunch of things, even if I never play it. I encourage this sort of ridiculousness to go on, because those are how I feel that you're going to get people that look at my stack of books when I'm DMing. When I used to, carry 4 or 5 books with me because I might need to look up a block stat or something. That's super intimidating. If I give them a PDF that's 4 pages long, that's a lot less intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's something you can pick up too. You can do pickup games, whether novice or experienced players.
Yeah, and you can play anywhere then. I mean, I honestly, when I ran D&D 4th edition, I had a hard time running it not at home because of the amount of books.
Yeah, I got to a point where I was able to cut some of that down, traveling to the game. The last in person in the before times was hosted by somebody else. One of the players hosted because they had this huge dining room table. It was perfect. I managed to cut it down to 3 or 4, and then thank God for the internet, I was able to get it onto my iPad, which is so much easier too than flip.
Yeah, I know. God.
But yeah, but there's a bunch of stuff. No, the other one I've been diving into is the Iron Sworn in space.
What's the Iron Sworn?
Iron Sworn is a game where you can be GM-less, and there's all these different tables, and you sort of improvise as you go through and come up with, for example, we did one recently with me and Vlieger Dragon, basically stumbling our way through saving our village from this huge threat. And as things get progressively worse, your choices get worse, et cetera, et cetera. They have one that's Starforged now that takes place in space, where you basically improvise the worlds you go to. You can have a GM for them as well. But
what's the cost for those?
So the main book for Starforged on Drive Thru RPG, I think, is $20, but it comes with a whole bunch of. It's a huge PDF. Comes with 1 million tables, the play kit, little reference sheets, things like that. It's worth it, I think.
Okay.
It's not a toss away like the 3 kobolds in a trench coat, which is there's more to it. But it's a really good, deep indie series, and they've been going for several years now with Iron Sworn, which is the fantasy based.
Well, so I wanted to talk about price real quick, because this last weekend I found an old title that was redone for Pathfinder rules, and I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I could go pick this up, and it was a game system called Oathbound. I don't know if anybody's ever played it, but
heard of.
Yeah, Oathbound was a system where you could play a character from any D&D pretty much realm, because it was the D&D rule set. So you could have like a Knight of Solamnia or, Red Wizard of Thay all playing in the same world, because that's what the world was about, was these guides brought in people from different realms into this one realm. And it was a really cool system, had a really cool setting, really interesting and everything, and the book was super thick, and I was like, man, this is like, must be an all-inclusive book, and it pretty much was. They had another source book there, but I picked it up, and the core rule book was $89.
Yeah. So,
I was like, holy crap.
We're still not through everything that happened because of the pandemic.
Yeah. I was just I just couldn't justify paying $90 for a book that I was just going to most likely read for, pleasure.
Oh yeah, if you're not gonna play it, Bowie, stop. Champions was never $90. The book was thick. Yes, I can go pull the Fred off yes, it's called Fred. Long story. Off the shelf if you really want to.
I think my gigantic Starfinder book was like $60-something,
Yeah.
and it's thicker than. Back in the day, we had phone books. It's like bigger than a couple of the phone books from my hometown.
Well, the book he's talking about, the Champions book, was printed on recycled paper. It wasn't as dense, but it was a little thicker. So the book's like this thick, but it's not super heavy.
Okay.
It was really weird because the book before it was like smaller, but it was way denser. Okay. And by the way, Gonzo, you're on the hook for another half an hour of.
All right, so the entire podcast.
Ears.
All right.
No, you were past that already. Yeah, it's big night.
You owe us next week.
No, it only lasts for the podcast only. This episode only.
But the prices, and that's the thing is, there are prices all over the map, and if you're, I know, I've been getting most of my stuff through drive-through lately, but like, I know Dungeon World is $10.
Oh yeah.
Starter kit is $10 for Dungeon World. And most of the Evil Hat stuff, Monsters of the Week, Thirsty Sword, Lesbians, things like that, they're all about $10, $12 to get started with, which is more than reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
If it's a great game, sure, I'll pay it. I'll pay a premium, but
I mean, I will always want a book over a PDF for my own personal thing, but nowadays, getting a PDF so you can share it with your friends, because people are going to share it whether you like it or not, is great.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I think the best bet is to sell your own PDF, because if you don't, someone will put it online and find it. So
yes.
Yeah, keep that in mind. But also, like Jim said earlier, the damn iPad or anything like that you could, if you can physically read a PDF on it, well, not your phone. It's really hard to read a PDF on your phone, like an iPad or something, any sort of tablet. Great. If it's not huge, you're not going to be flipping through it and want that visceral feel of it. Get the PDF because it's going to be so good for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it also creates this reduced barrier to entry for a lot of these, which is so key for this thing. You guys talk about the various tabletop wargaming. Literally never played one in my life, mostly because I did not want to drop the outlay of money to get into these types of things.
Yeah.
This month I literally bought my first box of Warhammer Scouts ever. As just a little painting project, not even to play. Just they looked cool. I was going to make them. But if you're talking, even if it's $30 for four of your friends to try something out, everybody kicks in $8.50. That's
all good. Yeah,
great way to come in. And if you're pushing stuff out on PDF, the other thing you do is you don't have production cost.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's why
a lot of them do have production costs now because they make them good enough. They have bookmarks and everything, which I will pay extra money for a PDF for that. Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm more talking just there's the cost of PDF together, but the binding, the printing, the layout, the types. I know it's not typesetting the same way anymore, but that's still actually an important part of the printing process.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of money that's cutting into your profit and the barrier to entry.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Especially in a world that's becoming more and more electronic. Like my work is trying to get rid of hard copy of everything we can. I'm like, sure. And I actually think I'm starting to come forward. I just need to make sure you find whatever tablet you can. Look at all your buddies' tablets. See which one you can read a PDF on well. Save up and get it. It's going to be worth it. Between books, game books, comic books, graphic novels, all that stuff, it's going to be worth it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I get, Xander says he has a love-hate relationship with PDFs, and I do too at times. I will freely admit that. And but it's so much easier. I can have my library on my monitor here while I'm running a game online instead of having to reach way the hell over there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the game that I'm be running at Warfare Weekend that I've been gearing up and I want to do some testing with is called Die, and they got the Kickstarter just finished, and they're doing a physical book, but they're going to give the PDF out as soon as they're done, and that's after the backer kit was it's like 2 weeks after the Kickstarter's done, the backer kit will hit, and then they'll give out the PDF. Because they said that the game's done, they're just got to get money to produce it and so on and so forth. And I was like, that was cool. And some people started complaining about the Kickstarter rewards because after a while they just started blowing through them, and they were like, you know what, guys, we can give you all the artwork and everything that we promised, and we'll do all this, but we're not going to do extra production stuff. So we're just going to pay our staff extra money that did the extra work and that's doing all this work. Instead of paying them their their fee that they agreed to, we'll pay them extra. And I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
Because now you're paying your people more. Yeah, even better. Type thing. So when it came to production stuff, because books take forever nowadays with the current pandemic and where you're getting them printed and shipped and all that.
Plus artwork for books, because if you're making a book, you're going to have artwork in it.
Yeah.
I got Prowlers and Paragon, the recent edition of that came out, and the biggest problem with that was just because during the pandemic, we just waiting for all artists to deliver work so we can put it all together. It took extra time just because pandemic and stuff. Life happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who does a lot of that artwork, that kind of artwork, and he's just getting crushed with stuff. Yeah. But even with digital, it's still hard to get the things out there and get them distributed and go through a review process.
Well, yeah, because it's not like they're getting paid top dollar for that stuff, unfortunately. Honestly, commissions is a much better way for them to make money, but then they're stuck with their contracts that are set and kind of pay the bills, and then trying to get commissions out there so they can get ahead of the game, so to speak, and supplement. It's just so tough for them. I am all for a company taking the extra money from a Kickstarter and just giving their people a bonus. Good Lord, that's great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool because we were like, well, we blew past all your goals and we blew past it by like 200,000. What are you going to give us? And I was like, give you? I mean, there's no give in this. It's a company.
Yeah.
These people are doing it, and they were like, guys, we went through all the Kickstarters we thought. We never thought it would get this far. So we're just going to pay our people more money.
Yeah,
I'm great. Like, okay, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you don't back a Kickstarter that you're not getting your money's worth for. You don't need to keep throwing free stuff at me. That's what got Relic Knights in trouble back in the day.
Also, Palladium was another one that did that too.
I mean, yeah, well, Palladium had other problems. Let's not go into that. That's a whole different bag of worms there, sir. Making a licensed game like that when the license is almost up is not fucking smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I am for it, and it's good to note, with role-playing game Kickstarters, they're not going to be, people are conditioned the wrong way. Yeah. They're not going to be giving you lots and lots of extra stuff. If they blow past their goal, that's cool. You're going to get what you paid for, regardless. Yep. It doesn't matter how far past their goal they went. You're getting exactly what they promised.
Especially for an RPG, because for the most part, you're doing it for the core rules. You're doing it to get the book. Okay, like this one had like dice, a new set of dice, and like awesome. The GM screen. Cool. How much more? I don't want to say free stuff, but how much more things can you put on without just going crazy with it? Oh, I'm going to give you these cool coins that really don't have anything to do with the world or the game, but here's just something cool. I'm like, nah.
That kind of stuff, if you want to. Or what I liked is when I did the Catalyst Games one for Battletech, they're like, here's a free copy of the next book, but only in PDF.
Oh, even
so I have a PDF
better.
Copy of like the next book, the Battle of Tukey. I'm like, awesome! I have a cool PDF copy on my computer. Awesome. Yeah. You don't need to give me extra physical stuff that's going to cost you more money. You've got a book, you're already making it. Now I've got that. I'll still buy the physical copy eventually.
Yeah.
I am like books on a bookshelf that are cool to look at. And they're doing some of those sort of old school source books where it is much more style over substance. I mean, I don't know if Jim, were you role playing back in the Shadowrun days? You ever see the early Shadowrun role books?
I didn't personally play. A really good friend of mine did though, and it was
Those books were great because it's like literally you got a thin book that's your Street Samurai catalog with all the weapons and stuff.
Yep.
1 to a page with just a blurb of in-universe stuff. Great. I love that. You don't have to be all crunch. You can give me fluff, 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 fluff. It's awesome. I read that book so many times. It was worth every penny and all the hardship my mom went through getting that for me. Look, I'm not gonna say, shout out to the moms for getting all that stuff for me. I put it on the list, and she would all around the area finding that stuff. So,
oh man, you had a cool mom.
She was awesome.
I didn't.
I had the I best hide my stuff before mom finds my D&D books, mom.
Yeah, I had the
me.
Satanic Panic mom also. So.
Yep.
My mom wouldn't have believed it. My mom's very down to earth with that. It's really awesome. She found whatever I needed. Like, it was great. There's zero complaints there. And I hope everyone growing up gets a chance to do some of that because it's easier nowadays because you could just, here's a link.
Yeah.
This is old school. She's got to find a store, and then hope they have it or can order it.
Actually, now I'm the one corrupting my son's friends, giving them stuff like, "Hey kid, you want an RPG? First one's free. Here you go."
Which, talking about that, what so like this person was brand new to running a game and was had it wasn't like a major concern, but it was like I don't know if I did everything right, don't know if I got the rules right, or everything was done, and I was like,
Make
did
sure
everybody
you share
have
with
fun?
them how to win role-playing games.
Yeah.
Everyone had fun. You have won.
You have one.
I will say though, if starting with Starfinder right off the bat, that is intimidating for a new GM.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the person said they bought the little starting set box, which I think is a great. People that do that or companies that do that for things is good in my opinion, because then you can grab someone, one, usually pretty cheap into the system, and two, get them started quick.
And you don't need to make all your books actual physical copies inherently. You could print on demand. Just make sure you have the quick start rules physical copy that you can send to the stores so that they can see it in their hand.
So what would you do? I mean, we've got a combined of like knowing our ages and how long we've been GMing, probably like 700 years worth of GMing experience here. What would you give advice to new people that are wanting to run games or new players that have never done it with the, vast knowledge that you have now?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say, as a GM, get used to writing outlines, not full adventures. Get a bunch of stat blocks ready, know where they are, but just write an outline. Your players aren't going to follow that shit to the letter anyways. Don't waste your time planning every little thing out.
Which was interesting. I'll let Jim answer, but remind me, Steel Dragon.
Yeah, I think there's that. But if everybody is new, everybody's brand new to this thing, like you're in your situation. Exactly what we just said, though. Find one of those starter boxes.
Yes.
Get the red box if they want to play D&D. Get the Starfinder. Get or get one of the little games, the DCC, or some of those that are rules light, because nothing is more intimidating. Honestly, any Paizo book is going to intimidate the hell out of anybody that's trying to jump in feet first into an RPG like that. And I love them, but they're scary.
I love Champions, but I would never, ever in a million years suggest someone start there.
The other part is screw the rules. I know this guy who he had played for a very long time. His kids wanted to try it out, and he's like, "Ha! My children are into the thing now." And his 7-year-old daughter wanted to play and be a flying tiger dragon. And he's like, "You know what? Let's do it. Do it."
Stat it out.
Yep. Like Xander said, the rule of Cole. Or my favorite is, don't say no. Yeah. Just assign a difficulty. Let them roll a die.
Yep. And I think that's part of the thing is you do get hung up on things, especially if you played a long time ago. Like when you were in high school, you played a couple of games at your friend's house, and then later on in life you're trying to do it again. Just just roll with it. And
Yeah.
even better though is just get out to the game store and find somebody to run a one shot for you.
Yeah, talk to the guys there. Every game store that has role playing games has an expert. The person that just knows the games. You want a superhero game? Hey, what superhero games are there? Can you help me learn them? Because maybe you're one of those people who can learn a Champions early. Maybe you're one of those people who should start off with an easier game. This person's going to know those games and going to help you find it.
And the game store near me has Learn 5e night, Learn RPG night, and they have 3 or 4 people come in, and they just sit there at a table waiting for somebody to show up and walk them through the games. The other thing you can do along those same lines, if you don't have a friendly local game store right near you, there's a lot of online Discord communities that be really careful, be super careful of, but there's a lot of really good communities out there that dig that and are into that, and just don't get into their games, but get some advice. And
the sneaky one that we've all forgotten about in the modern age, the library. So D&D is a big thing. I bet you one of the librarians likes D&D and can help you set up a night and advertise it and to give you a quiet corner. You guys got to be a little less raucous than we normally are, but you can totally do that. We've done that. We used to do magic in library. I would go around, so I had a car, and pick up 4 or 5 different magic players. We'd go to the library and we'd all just play magic together quietly and have a great time. Not even my local library.
I totally forgotten about that. My local library in the city I live in has something like that. They do in conjunction with the school system. School system has an official RPG and an official D&D club, both separate units, and they work in conjunction with the library.
That's great. I love it when they support those guys if you can too. You know, if you've got kids, check with the teachers and see what clubs are. If your kids are interested and there's a club, go talk to them, see what you can do to help. But that's more next level stuff. But maybe even they have something they do outside of there, and you can get in with them on it. They'll know everyone in the area.
Yeah, and my friends know, if you want to try and learn how to do it, throw some pizza and beer at me. I'll come over for a long afternoon, and I'll walk you through a quick game.
Yep,
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, there's so many things. What? Oh, Gonzo, you got one? Oh, actually, what? Steel, whatever?
Steel Dragon. So I was talking to this person at work that was talking about their game running, and they were like, so there was the big baddie, and it was like a steel dragon or whatever that was going. And they sat there, and I thought this was going to be a good long fight. And they sat and thought about it, and they devised a plan, and they got it up, and they killed it before the dragon got to do anything. And I was like,
you know what you do?
Welcome to be a GM.
Awesome.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like,
you know what?
That's cool.
We tell the story of we did when 3rd edition, later into the 3rd edition or 3rd edition D&D, 3rd edition, 4th edition. Sorry, we actually played a campaign from all their pre-made campaigns, all of their pre-made modules from 1 to 30, and at one point the Avatar of Orcus comes down and is supposed to do all this cool stuff. Unfortunately, like every other monster, the Avatar of Orcus has to roll initiative. And unfortunately, the Avatar of Orcus did not get to act. The party just wrecked it, and then Banion's sitting there with his character going, man, I wanted a piece of him too. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens. You just roll with it.
Yeah. Well, I did think it was funny, because after that person said that, I says, welcome to being a GM. That's cool if they got it. That's, makes a cool story. She goes, but I think what I'm going to do is, like, the person that created this dragon is going to reincarnate it, because they're kind of like a necromancer, and I'll have it in a later adventure and kind of tease it up to it. And I says, there you go. Reoccurring bad guy. When
someone mentions that, always just go, watch The Incredibles again.
Yeah.
Oh, they faced Mark 1, but can they take Mark 2? That's designed to stop whatever they killed it with.
Yeah. And I'm like, but that's what being a GM is about they did it. Now let's have some fun with it and see what they can do on phase 2. Mark 2, whatever. Which I was like, kudos to your players. Right. And like I said, if everybody had a good time, then you ran a good game.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so there's so many tips. Just find, and I think the biggest thing is just find people that are in it. Like Jim said, like just find online communities. Be careful of them, and just ask questions. Sure, you're gonna get some assholes that are gonna do stupid shit, but ignore them. Block them if they keep doing it, and then just find the people who are helpful. Like, I'll go out of my way on any group I'm on. If they haven't gotten a real answer, I will stop and I will give them a real answer.
A lot of the game companies, too, have started having their own managed Discord servers, too. Like Evil Hat does, a few others. I think WotC has 7 or 8 heavily policed, so it's friendly servers for people to literally do just that, jump in and ask questions.
And it sounds crazy, but if you get someone who's super helpful, try and friend them or something. They can probably help you further. They might probably have like a personal Discord where it's, I mean, most of those places are usually pretty safe when you get people in there. They're but don't be afraid to eject from them, but they can help you out. Like, honestly, so in MechWarrior Online, one of the unit I'm with, the guys I hang with, are all because I chatted with a guy while we're playing the game, and we hit it off. He friended me, showed me some stuff, and then, boom, now here we are in the same unit having fun MechWarrior Online all the time. That stuff can happen. Don't give it a chance to happen.
The other place, too, is where somebody got me into helping them out is work. I was sitting at the lunch table, and they were saying, yeah, no, my kid wants to get into it was actually Starfinder too at the time. Get into these games and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm happy to help you out with whatever you need on it. And I ended up starting a small mini campaign off of a pre-con D&D campaign at work. After work on every other Thursday, we spent 2 hours and just did that, and they learned the game.
Yeah, we're still trying to get our work group together. We have actually, it's funny. We have 2 GMs still at work, and then 2 players left, and then the other 2 who are players only, are not with the company anymore. And one of the guys who really wanted to start's not with the company, but we still have contact with them. We're just trying to get together a time so we can all get together and play. You can find that. It's great.
Yeah.
And the one GM, the other GM, is offered to run it, which means I would actually get to play.
Woo!
And the last piece of advice I give to new people: don't watch the big streams.
No.
I mean,
because you're gonna get that overly self-critical watching, whether it's a Colville or Mercer or any of those others. They're fun to watch. Don't do that because you're getting
watch
started.
it for the entertainment. Don't watch it for an example.
Yep.
You want to hear what us randos, normal people do? Listen to some of the live play podcasts. Those are much more attainable. You can easily attain what I do. I just herper-derp around with my friends, and we have a fucking great time.
That's what the first bit of the Adventure Time cast. That touched me because at one point the players did something. He's like, oh, "Fuck it, okay." And just on the podcast they left it in. He's like, "Well, fuck it, I don't even know now. You're gonna do this."
I don't edit my podcasts, not at all. I don't like. Something egregious would have to happen, and I trust the people I'm with to not let that happen.
Yeah, I know. I don't judge people that do, because I understand, because I was in that was my first career, was broadcasting. I get that, and I was just surprised that, instead of keeping the flow going, he's like, shit, I have no idea.
I've ended sessions like, well, you guys just bypassed everything else I had planned. I don't know what else we're going to do. So, you guys want to play a board game? Sometimes you just roll with it. I mean, improv is the name of the game. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. That's it's one of the things that everybody says, yo, man, you've had all this stuff planned out, and, oh, man, you had everything really good, and it was real organized, and then they don't really understand that you had plan A built, and plan A was everything, and y'all went to plan Z, type thing. And so you had to change everything up on the fly. And being a GM, that's pretty much what you got to do. You've got to go and be prepared for that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, my prep is not necessarily prepping stories. It's like, what do I have in case? And I'll pull this library of maps out that are just generic maps and things like that.
Yep, just be prepared for anything. It sounds silly to say that, but just be ready. If they throw you for a loop, just take it and go. Don't worry about your story because you guys are all doing a story together. Take those little things you really wanted to happen. If they don't happen, put those aside. You'll find a spot for them. A spot will come up, be like, it is time for the thing, and it'll be great. Yeah, Sanders says once he stopped a fight because he role played and won. Absolutely.
What time are we at?
Role playing is great. We got a couple minutes.
Okay. But I mean, it's nice to see new people picking up games.
Yeah.
Whatever role-playing game they get, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Seeing people get up and play whatever is fine. Go play what makes you happy. If you're more into the silly, fun, type of games like 3 Kobolds in a Trench Coat, go do it. Who cares? If you want to be something serious like the new game I'm going to be playing, Die, fine, go do it. But eventually, you're going to get a dick joke in there somewhere, no matter where you play and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody is going
God
to,
willing.
no matter how serious your game is going to be. And it'll most likely be out of character just because everybody's trying to be fun, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be there having fun.
Yeah. And don't worry about that. Just make sure if you've got anyone who's sensitive, make sure you go over the topics that are a no-no.
Yep. Red cards.
Yep.
Which I think is really great. This new game says
I don't even think you need red cards.
red card.
Just sit there and talk to people before the game. Hey,
Yeah.
here's how we do things. Here's what we're doing. If something makes you uncomfortable, tell someone. They didn't mean it personally against you,
Correct.
and they'll police themselves. If they don't police themselves, the GM will police them.
Yeah.
It's okay.
99.9% of the time, if somebody says something in game, it's never ever directed at somebody, and it's usually never meant to cause any harm. It's just they were playing it and role playing this character or playing
they got into
towards
the
a
moment.
character.
Remember, a lot of us are older, and things were different when we started role playing in the 80s. Things were different. Things that, I can't believe I said that. I was a stupid kid.
Yes.
But you get into that habit of saying stupid kid things. You don't mean anything. Like people who still say, I don't have a dog in that fight. It's a fucking reprehensible thing to say. But people still say it because that's what they grew up hearing. It's verbal memory, not actually meaning anything by it.
No, and I second that. It's one of the things that I did. I won't go into the details of it, but I felt was fairly innocuous, and on the face of it, it generally is. But it really bothered somebody for a specific event that happened in their lives. And to this day, you have that moment just as you're falling asleep and you remember in 8th grade that time you look like a total idiot. That bubbles up. That memory is one of those memories that bubbles up and go, hey, remember you were an asshole and hurt that person's feelings? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And like I said,
You roll with it and you apologize, and most gamers are like that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could, there could be a time that you could say something and don't know that it's very offensive or it triggers somebody because it's a normal thing in a game. And you're like, okay, we need to change whatever the subject that is, type stuff. And the thing is, you would never even thought of it, type thing. But I mean, you just have to, you adapt to your crew.
So Zanderson's a good thing I want to end on. He says, GMs are the police in the game. Be ready to stand up and enforce it. Conversely, if you're a player, do not be afraid to stand up to your GM if he says something that you think was offensive to somebody. Again, probably not personal. Just stand up and say, hey, that was uncool. And you'll get an apology and they'll modify. That's how we are. And there's a lot of, don't listen to the guys on Twitter or wherever who are old grognods who are like, if you got a problem with the way I run the game, go find a new game. Fuck those guys. This is collaborative. We're all friends. It's supposed to be fun for all of us.
It's 100% correct, though. If you stand up and say something to the GM and he's like, oh, I'm not changing, find a new game.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a new game.
Find a different table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give him a chance to change, but if he's not willing to, and it means that to you, stand up. I mean, it's like life. Stand up for what you believe.
Of course.
It'll be okay.
Somebody's
Hit
going to
us
back you
on
up. Trust
our
me.
social medias. We will help you find. If we have to put a word out, so and so is looking for a game and such, we will help everyone find whatever we can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Xander, I had that in one of my sessions. We had a guy leave, and I had to ask him to leave because it was just not cool. So
I think
not like
anybody with
everyone's
a
got
history
that.
has those stories. I think I have two of them that came right to mind.
Oh yeah. I already have like 3 right in my head about that stuff. I was like, yep, I remember kicking that person out. I remember leaving this group.
Yep, I can pick a 2 or 3 myself. Some of them old.
Oh yeah, these are pretty way backs. Most nowadays, for the most part, now going older and picking up, I'm like, it's not that I'm picky, but I'm just gonna make sure I choose the right people that I want to have and play a game with.
Yeah, you have me at your table, dude.
Yeah, but fuck that. I mean, I had to scrape the bottom, so I figured I'd scrape the bottom with someone that knows what they're doing.
That's fair.
You didn't get the absolute bottom.
No.
You ain't got me.
Yeah. That's because you like throwing things at me anyway. So.
I mean, but I'll be throwing it at my camera. What's that hurt you? I have not learned to throw things through the camera to hit you yet.
All right, let's go ahead and switch over to media section. In case you're new to the listening audience, we do have 2 rating systems for our media sections. Our media section, we have ratings from Casablanca to Cats. Casablanca being the greatest movie ever made, and Cats being the worst movie made. And I think that might get trumped when they release the Cat Butthole edition. We would have to distinguish that difference. So we'll have to wait.
No, we won't, because I'm not going to fucking watch it. I will say this 100%. If you wish me to watch that, it has to be free, and you're going to have to pay me.
I was half
sure
imagining Clockwork Orange style.
That would have to be it, but that would be difficult.
Cookie Mandia says that Morbius may be Cat's level. I'm waiting for it to come out so I'm not going to pay for it.
It can't be.
I don't know, but I do want to see it. I will watch it once.
I am certain that Morbius is not even Atlantic Rim level.
That's the cat's ass.
Oh man, Atlantic Rim.
So Menoth John, when I told him that was terrible, he didn't believe me. He went and watched it when he was on a work trip, and then he apologized next podcast afterwards because it was fucking terrible.
It's not even bad movie good.
No, there's no... And I've watched other Asylum things. I've watched, like, fucking Avengers Grimm, where it's like all the Mother Goose and Grimm fairy tales princesses as the Avengers, and it's literally a rip on the Avengers Assemble movie. But you know what? It was like, it was a bad movie. Oh, just Batman Ninja is a different level of movie. Slade, have you seen Batman Ninja?
Yeah, I saw it. I have opinions, but probably not as strong as some other folks, it seems.
Yeah.
All I want to know is how much cocaine did it take to get those guys to make that?
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. It's
a
a whole different level of bad.
Everyone needs to see that movie. Like, it's just a movie, like, you need to see it. Cookie loves Batman TMNT. I also loved it. It was great. Because we did a triple shot with movie night. It was Batman Ninja, Batman TMNT, and then Into the Spider-Verse. And Batman TMNT I just rented. I wish I'd have purchased it. I think it would have been absolutely worth it.
I will say the only redeeming part of Batman Ninja for me was the big climactic battle when Joker did his big reveal. And I'm just like, they just said, screw it. Know, and I was there for that. At that moment, I was like, this has redeemed itself for me.
Just when you thought it could not get more, pun intended, batshit crazy, it did.
It did.
And I enjoyed that part of it.
Our second rating system, before we get too much further, we do a scale of 0 to 5, 5 being the worst movies, 0 being perfect, on the scale of space herpes. Of course, nobody wants to get space herpes. And if you know the reference, you're old like us, and you'll laugh and get grossed out too. AKA, check out Ice Pirates.
Or don't. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Or don't, yeah. I only have like 75,000 to go over, like normal. But most of them are TV shows.
But yeah, TV shows again.
Yeah, Slade.
I'm kind of almost caught up.
What do you got this week? You got a bunch?
So I do have a bunch. I will touch on keeping up to date. I finished the first section of this season of Stranger Things.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yep. No spoilers, of course, because some people are still
no
watching.
spoilers. They have gotten me on twists. There's twists that they throw in, spotted throughout the entire section of this season, that I was just like, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's high on my list for next, just because I've only seen the first episode, and I was there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished it too. I'm ready for second half of the season, so we can finally see the ending, because they actually said that this ending is going to be very dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I expect some people to die.
They've always hinted at that, and they've always foreshadowed some of that type of thing, and I can see that just by things that have been happening in this season.
I can also see it because of actors' ages and them becoming awkward to portray their characters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with characters dying, especially ones that you love particularly a bunch, because, you know, this world is not a cool world. It's not a, a handhold baby, funsy. This is a brutal world.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's earned. I mean, last season when Max's brother died, like, fucking, that was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Earned every second of that.
Yep.
Like a leaf on the wind.
Kind of, yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. Too soon, man.
I was waiting to see if it too soon would come in there.
Yeah.
No, but I hit that. I hit The Boys.
The Boys was still pretty good. This one was... Did you watch this week's episode? Oh, my God.
Yes.
I heard about this week's episode from my friends.
The warning that says nobody should be watching this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do bring in a favorite character from the comic books. That's a side character. That if you've watched it, I'm talking about the one that greets them at the door.
Uh-huh.
That type of thing is excellent. But it's so
wrong.
There's so much wrong in so many parts of this, in a best way. But the big thing for me is actually, you know what I did this week? I mentioned earlier that we did the D&D charity stream, and I played a Drunken Master Monk.
Oh, sweet!
For the first time, tried that out. It was fun, and as a result, I loaded up some Jackie Chan and watched the original Drunken Master.
Yep.
Drunken Master or Drunken Master 2?
I haven't finished the second one yet. I'm halfway through.
Second one, that fight scene at the end is
I
probably the best. It's the best fight scene committed to cinema ever.
I was buoy. I was a little bit drunk playing the character. It was. No, but I had forgotten. Just right in the beginning of the first movie, there's this one scene where Jackie Chan's character is like taunting one of his classmates in the dojo, and does this whole, fight, taking his hat and doing weird things with his hat in Jackie Chan style. And I'm just like, oh, I had forgotten. It had been 20-something years since I watched these movies. And they hold up so well. They're so... and I didn't even mind them being subtitled.
I watch everything subtitled nowadays.
Well,
but
half the time when I'm doing stuff like that, I'll be sitting like here, and I have to focus on it. I did not mind that at all. Did not mind it at all.
Yeah, I love Jackie Chan movies. This old stuff is such good quality. The stunts are just still amazing. He's the gold standard.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I love that he got his friends into it. The one to check out, I always mention, is Dragons Forever. Because not only do you have Sammo Hung and Yun Bao in it, you also have some of his other friends from the original Chinese opera troupe that he was with in it as well, playing roles. And there's an ending fight scene between him and Benny the Jetter Credits that is better than the one on Meals on Wheels.
Bold statement.
Wheels on Meals. Because that was a good fight. This one's better. It's really good.
So
we can assume that you're giving Drunken Master 1 a good rating, but what do you give it?
I will give it I will give it just one Space Harpy. There's a couple bits in there that are products of their time, shall we say, that
Yep.
like took
Yeah.
me out of the moment. But that was, that doesn't bother me that much. But I'm still gonna ding it a point.
Yep. Fair enough.
So of course I watched a bunch of TV shows, and I don't know if y'all have caught up on the new Star Trek episode.
I have.
Um,
I got up both episodes because I didn't watch last week, but I watched 2 this week to catch up because it's worth it.
and so this episode of Strange New Worlds was just so fun. That's the best way to put it.
I will say I did enjoy it, but I feel it is overall the weakest episode of the season.
I would say so too. You can tell this was kind of like a filler episode in a way. The ending was really good and very emotional.
The ending was fucking A. The
Yeah.
ending kept it from becoming, a mediocre episode. It was still a
Correct.
good episode, but I think last week, since we didn't talk about it, was great also.
Yes, it was too.
I love the style they're going for. It's not serious business, because Discovery too often became serious business,
Yes.
and I like that it's just not always serious business.
Yeah, I mean, the overall episode was just a good fun. You could tell that they were
Yes.
having a blast. You could tell that they
yeah.
had to do that take. They had to do some of those takes over and over.
yeah.
I'd love to see the blooper reel for this episode. But I mean, the ending.
It's good to see Hammer get a bigger role, which is awesome, because
Yeah.
he hasn't been in a couple episodes.
But I mean, I loved it. I thought it was good fun. The ending was very heartfelt, but really good. And they didn't take one of the scenes or one of the plots in the story and drag it out for 20 episodes, which I was very happy about. I hate when they
Yeah,
take something and just drag it out.
Well, and the good thing is that they're going for episodic still.
Yes.
But enough that you want to see them in order, but if you don't, the preview at the beginning tells you what you need to know
Yeah.
about it. You can, there'll be some episodes that need to be seen in order. There are going to be 3 episodes kind of for this particular plot line, but the rest, it doesn't matter as much. You can go and put stuff wherever. But I like it. It was good. It's still the best Star Trek to come out. I mean, I loved Discovery Season 2. I haven't gotten through Season 3, but I loved Discovery Season 2. This is so far better than Discovery Season 2, and that's saying something.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm having a blast with it. It was good. John, what do you got?
Well, you got one of them. The other one is... Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about the show I went to. Fuck it.
Okay.
I went to an actual, music show. There were 2 openers and then 2 headliners. The headliners were the Interrupters and Flogging Molly. The opening acts were a reggae band from London called Skint, and then I don't know what to call them. We're going to call them rock, but they're definitely cross-genre many times, kind of punkish sometimes, kind of country sometimes, a band called Tiger Army. We did not... I mean, it was fine reggae for the Skints. Reggae's not really my thing. Tiger Army was great, and the Interrupters just fucking stole the show.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were amazing. They had so much energy. Everyone's singing along. It was super fun. Not to take anything from Flogging Molly. Flogging Molly are a fucking old pros at this. They've been doing it for a while. They were amusing. At that point, I was having trouble standing, so I actually went and sat down. Behind thing, I couldn't see them, but man, they played great. They had the best sound of everyone. The Interrupters were great, but Flogging Molly wins on sound, but the energy from Interrupters. It was super fun. Go out and see shows if you can, guys. It's back. Wear your mask. It's helpful, make it safe, but it's good to get these people out there, get out and continue with what they were doing before, the end times came. I will give the overall show 1 Space Herpy, and that goes to the Skins, because I'm not really a fan of reggae. They were fine quality-wise, but it was great to just get out there and see it.
Cool. Slade, what you got now?
The only other thing I've been watching, but also I caught up on. Oh hell! Let's see. Caught up on the latest Star Wars offering. Caught up on Ms. Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
which
Is everybody caught up on Kenobi?
I am. I'm not
Mhm.
caught up on Miss Marvel yet. I have something I
Okay,
have to
let's
give.
do a spoiler-free review of Kenobi then, since we're.
Sure.
I I enjoyed the entire series, nitpicking and some of the that we've talked about through the whole series of stuff. But overall, I enjoyed it. There were some good feels and some good energy at the very last episode.
Hmm.
Um, I I wouldn't mind another round, but I don't think they're going to. But I would think maybe like an episode here and there, like oh, Kenobi does this, or
One
expand on
shots,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, one
or two
shots.
shots. Just tell a quick story. Don't make it longer than it needs to be.
Correct.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. I enjoyed the series overall. I don't think quite as much as you. I had episode 3, I think it was just pissed me off.
The teleporting
And some
scenes.
of yes, and then
Yeah.
they had some other stuff in this episode that I thought was not as good as it could have been. I think I'd give it 1.5 to 2 space herpes just because when it was egregious, but when it was good, it was really good.
Yeah.
If you didn't have
Yeah.
little Leia in there, I think it would have failed completely.
Oh, she was. I compared
Amazing.
her to the kid in the Atom Project that
Yeah.
was playing against Ryan Reynolds and was a perfect 10-year-old Ryan Reynolds. This girl was 10-year-old Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
It was so
Great.
good.
Yes.
I had some nitpicks, but I also was I had a lot of respect for how they were able to write a pretty good story within the confines of what they had.
Yeah.
Know how it ends, that yes, both Vader and Obi-Wan are walking away from this.
Yes.
You know that Princess Leia is going back home to Alderaan. There are these things that are happening but they still there was a lot of suspense there.
Mhm.
It was handled pretty well. And honestly, Kumail Nanjiani also was so good. He cracked me up in his role as the I don't remember that name. I always want to call it Nar Shaddaa, and I know it wasn't Nar Shaddaa. But the guy that helped him get off of Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fake Jedi.
Yeah.
Great. He was
so
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the
overall,
conf-
I give it a 1 because there was the things of the teleporting and all that stuff, but it was really good to see those people playing their roles again, giving themselves more character, giving themselves more depth. The characters were really good. I love seeing Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan anyway. I think he's just made for that role, in my opinion. And to see the character change and grow in the series too.
Mhm.
So it was short.
I
It
would-
was sweet.
Yeah, I would also say one thing is I think I've had my fill of space wizards. You can't do too many more space wizards without they just keep trying to one up their power level, and it's getting a bit much.
Yeah.
So I could do without some space wizards for a while again.
Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
supposed to get the next one is not supposed to have any Jedi in it, I think. Or any space
Well,
wizards.
I mean, yeah,
Ahsoka.
Oh no, the Andor.
Oh, the
Andor
Andor one. Yeah, right.
Andor should be fine. Maybe by the time Ahsoka comes out, I'll be ready for space wizards again. I mean, I'll watch it, but I have this feeling they're not going to be as egregious with the power level for her.
No,
And
I
I
don't
think
think so
that's
either.
okay. I think you can have it be egregious in certain areas just to tell the story you want.
Yeah.
You need Vader to be super powerful to make it look good, and Obi-Wan to do what he needs to do. Cool, do it.
Yeah.
I think they can still work within that, but I think they need to put a little more thought into that, and not just do that.
Yeah.
Cookie says, "I want Battle Beyond the Stars too." I do too.
John, what you got?
I mean, we've covered everything I got.
You got everything? I know.
Yeah, we covered Obi-Wan, Strange New Worlds. That yeah, I'm done.
So to get off of one of them, I did finish the Umbrella Academy, which came out this week. The new season of that. I really liked it. Umbrella Academy is almost pushing the limits of what The Boys does, but not really. It's just right there before it goes over. And this one was a good season. I think next season is going to be our last season. They're thinking about season 4 will be the end of the series, which is I'm okay with. Especially at the end of this one, it left it on a cliffhanger, but not a big, huge cliffhanger. But but let's on a what the fuck moment more than anything. Enjoyed the characters, love everything about it. Definitely want to see it, see it end on a peak type thing. So looking forward to it. This season, I give it probably one space RPs. There's a little bit of issues, but nothing that's so egregious that it just makes me want to puke type thing.
Gonzo, with Obi-Wan done, I should be able to catch up on Miss Marvel and then maybe start catching up on Halo.
Gotcha. I caught up on Miss Marvel. I'll just wait to do that one later. So, I mean, let y'all catch up on
I should be able to get that this week. I just didn't have a chance to get all of that.
But I won't. It doesn't affect the story. I will say the latest episode, they really did another amazing job of the environment and the art. And this isn't a spoiler at all. When she is texting, how they work that into the environment around her.
Yeah.
They took it to a wonderful level in this most recent episode. I actually paused and I'm like, "Oh, that is cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good cinematography.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with that. Honestly, from a technical aspect, it is absolutely amazing. I just hope people give it a chance to get past the sort of niche that it is.
I did
and
see
give it a
an
chance.
article that said this is the highest rated MCU series so far.
Yeah,
I believe
it's
it.
also got the lowest viewership, which is unfortunate because it's never fair.
No.
But hopefully people give it a chance. I'm trying to convince. I have one of my people at work is Pakistani, and not a huge fan of fantasy stuff, but I'm like, you should watch it if you get the chance. She doesn't have Disney Plus, but I'm like, you should think about it because I think you would like it.
I have a Muslim coworker who has done nothing but enjoy the portrayal of everything in there, with the exception with the exception of he goes, it becomes a little unrealistic because her mother never takes her shoe off. Like, okay, I'll bow to you on that one.
So we talk about one thing that we've all seen, but this week, Doctor Strange came out on Disney Plus, and so I finally got to see it. My overall thing, this was a very brutal MCU movie, very violent, and I enjoyed it. I did have some nitpicks, like John had talked about, the Sam Raimi type thing where you can tell this is an Evil Dead feeling.
It's only the one scene.
Correct.
Every other scene where he does his horror stuff is fucking great. When like the kangaroo's behind the stairs, when she's during the one part and then comes out again, that is great. That is perfect, and it makes it. There's just the one scene where I'm like, this is his Evil Dead homage. It took me not completely out of the movie, a little bit out of the movie.
Yeah, it did me too. I was like, oh, that's an Evil Dead moment there. Okay, let's get back to the cool stuff. But I mean, this one was very brutal. Because some people were saying it should have been rated higher, and I was like, no. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's not one of my favorite MCU movies, but it's still a great MCU movie. We still have a lot of stuff going. We have a lot of things going on in the universe, so everything's wide open.
Yeah, I didn't like it better than No Way Home. I don't think it had nearly there. It's a solid middle offering from MCU, which is fine. People make that sound like it's a bad thing. Some things are going to get there. I'm sorry. Their top is so fucking high.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that is in the back of my mind with it, though, is I feel like across Loki and Doctor Strange and Eternals and all these other things, they're putting way too many irons in the fire on the side.
I'm waiting for everything to come into one.
This one thing, I feel like they're kind of overextending and outsmarting themselves a little bit. It feels sometimes. I'd like to see how it pays off. I'd love to be wrong, but sometimes it just feels like that, and I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. But I'm just like,
yeah. I think, and I hope, I don't think they're doing one story arc. I think they're going to start doing multiples, and I think that's okay. but I think they need to be more transparent about it.
Yeah.
So people aren't trying to add it all together. This doesn't add up. Like, no, we're doing multiple things. People are like, oh, multiple things. That makes it like, is this going here? Is this going here? Because Loki seems like it's going directly into Spider-Man, into Multiverse of Madness, into the whole multiverse thing. Eternal seems like it's going a completely different direction.
Correct.
And I think that's going back to Shang-Chi with the little stuff they did teaser at the end.
Right.
But it's hard to tell.
It'll be cool to see when they funnel everything together, whether they funnel it into one big story or they funnel it into like two big stories. But things have
They won't Avengers Infinity War Endgame again.
No, I'm just saying that the overall story will get combined up into not that I expect to see like Loki and the Eternals and all those people together, like an in-game movie, but an in-game, a cohesive story together.
Yeah, and I must say again, I do like that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness ended on not just beating up the villain.
Yeah,
that's 2 for 2 for Doctor Strange. That's cool.
Yeah, and I was very worried about this Doctor Strange 2 because it was like, ooh, how are we going to do this type thing? But it turned out perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first post-credit scene in an MCU that I really liked, and really, when I got home from the theater, I was like, I have to look this up. I'm not sure what just happened, and I had to go look it up.
Wow. So someone didn't know who Clea was.
It wasn't as obvious when she appeared. So.
And then you have the post credit scene. Bruce Campbell's always awesome.
Yeah, I was okay with that. I was like, the best thing about Sam Raimi is that he'll always bring Bruce Campbell with him.
Oh, always. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
For
I
any
just wish
small
they could
role.
have given him a bigger role.
I was surprised they didn't see his brother, because Ted usually shows up in a lot of the movies too. I didn't see Ted Raimi at all.
If you guys don't know who Ted Raimi is, he was in Sequest and also played Joxer in Xena.
That's right.
Those are his biggest roles, I think.
Anybody have anything else?
He's amusing to see too. No. I got to get some time to watch more stuff. But with Love and Thunder coming out,
we have that.
I will be watching that. Maybe not opening weekend, but soon after if I can.
Yep.
I was a little worried. I'm not the hugest fan of Ragnarok. I thought it was fun and decent, but I thought that Taika Waititi made a huge mistake by humor destroying every meaningful moment in that movie. But based on what he's done since, between his episodes of The Mandalorian and Free Guy, I think he's absolutely nailed it afterwards. So I'm not super worried. I just really a little... Don't look at the chat. Bayon's going to piss you guys off.
Yep.
I really was a little worried.
How dare you? How dare you, Ben?
He's not a fan of that movie. He didn't like it. I thought it was super fun. It was like Guardians of the Galaxy. Super fun. Maybe not as good as everyone said it was, but just enjoyable to watch. And what more can you ask for, The movie keeps me entertained from A to Z. This is good enough.
Yeah. It was the best use of Immigrant Song since it was released on that Led Zeppelin album, too.
I cannot argue with that at all.
Yeah.
That whole scene was great.
So I do have some stuff that I am going to be watching. Since we're finished wrapping up, the new season of Peaky Blinders came out, and I've enjoyed that. And it'll be interesting to see how this one goes because one of the major cast members passed away before I think they finished, and so I didn't even get started on it, so I'm waiting to see how that does. So other than that, we good? Everybody good? You guys want to talk about?
The next time I'm on, I will talk about, because I'm going to dive into the Infinity Saga, which is a fan supercut of MCU leading up to Endgame in chronological order as events happen. And I'm really looking forward to this.
So I actually did, I had to say years ago, I actually did a rewatch of all the Marvel stuff up to I forget where I stopped, but man, it is such an undertaking nowadays. There are so many movies. You're like, you got to pencil in a month. Like, I'm gonna watch Marvel stuff this month.
This is
It's
80
Marvel
hours.
March.
Yeah.
I think because it takes some of the TV shows. It has, it'll cut in the scenes of WandaVision between the battle in Sokovia and everything else. I mean, it's chronologically cut. So I'm going to see how this goes.
Good luck.
Thanks.
So, all right, everybody, we appreciate you being on. We appreciate you listening. Of course, Slade, it's always great to have you on to talk about RPG stuff. We will be sending you off to Ricky is Not a Ferret. And go over there, go with them, and make sure you hit the button and click a little like on there and show them your love also. Make sure you go and check out Big Jim Slade Gaming. What are you going to be streaming? What's your schedule? And someone give a good shout out for them for me.
My schedule is split between my channel, Big Jim Slade Gaming, and the Pyro Club, as always. This week, I will be probably diving back in. I picked up, with the Steam sale, I picked up the newer Pathfinder game, Wrath of the Righteous, and started that up this weekend. And it's been so far. It's a little dialogue heavy in the beginning, like most of these are, but it's so far fixed a lot of my complaints about Kingmaker already right off the bat.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll have a death counter, Mizzy. Don't worry. And I also have to finish Chicken Police. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's awesome. But also on the Pyro Club, we're going to be continuing our Kobolds campaign. We're starting up a couple of new things coming up as well, and hopefully a real estate stream on mine sometime soon too. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
So guys, we appreciate you coming on. If you like what you hear, like what you see, click that little follow button, and you can not only follow us doing the podcast, but John doing some MechWarrior Online. And please take care of yourself. Please watch out for each other. Step up and say something, especially now. Let's get to this, and let's make sure everybody's happy and safe. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Slade.
Good. Everybody dance.
White Irish Boston kid dancing.
You do chair dancing. Come on.
Oh, I do. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Chair dancing. You mean the lazy boy.